Okay, here's some easy tricks for you to learn. The first one I call the reverse cyclone. It's not technically a reverse cyclone because in the cyclone your arms are crossed like this, and in the reverse cyclone your arms aren't crossed. But the premise is the same. It's just fast figure eights in front of you, alternating. The difference is you're doing reverse fast figure eights for the reverse cyclone. So you start and you go reverse cattleman, you get a crack there, and you just alternate in front. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that goes really well into the skip over, for example. It's just like a good routine to go in front or behind you or whatever. The next one is you're changing eights, which you said you already know, but the cool thing with the changing eights is you can really easily replace the fast figure eight with a throw of some kind. So for example, I find the elbow toss really easy, so I'll go bang. You can see I'm back into the pattern again. Or I could do a gainer toss. And so on. So I like to, replace fast figure eights with throws, just because your other hand is kind of operating on autopilot, doing the slow figure eight, and so it's really easy to add a throw into that pattern. The Tasmanian crossover, Adam has a video on it, I'll go over really quickly. It's basically just this Queensland crossover, so overhead, reverse overhead, like this, or overhead flick if you prefer to call this a flick, same thing. And then the other hand is doing cattlemans, fast figure eights, and the volley. The cattlemans and all those tricks happen right after the overhead crack. So I go up and then it's always overhead cattleman like that. I kind of bring the overhead in first and then bang, bang. And then eventually it's like this, and then this one, and then the volley. I'm not sure what the exact timing is for the volley portion. I try and do a crack every 2 cracks of the volley. So crack, 1, 2, crack, 1, 2, crack, 1, 2, crack. And then go again. So crack, 1, 2, crack, 1, 2, crack, 1, 2. That's a good one, which is really good for teaching hand independence. The skip over you saw a tutorial for on the website or on the YouTube. That's a good one. And then the other thing I found good for Queensland cross for hand independence is learning to change lead hands in the Queensland crossover. Obviously the prerequisite is to be able to do the Queensland crossover with either hand on the bottom, but the majority of the lead hand changes involve making one hand do one thing while the other hand maintains the Queensland crossover. So some basic ones would be after the reverse overhead crack, if you do an extra spin. So my top arm is going to do that. So crack, spin, now it's on the bottom. Another example is the Tasman flick, which is kind of an overhead crack into another overhead crack. So you crack it and then pull it back and do another one, and you can use that again on the top arm. Sorry, I got a tangle. The top arm is going to do that, and then that'll put the whip back on the bottom, which is where you want it. This is a bad knot, but we will get there. There it is. Okay. So yeah, we're doing the Queensland crossover, and if you watch, my right arm is going to go, and now we're here. So I just do an extra little crack there, and then you can go back and forth like that if you want. And then finally, one more is changing lead hands by doing sort of an upside down reverse fast figure eight. So your top arm, your bottom arm is going to go bang, bang, and then 1, 2, and then do a reverse overhead. So crack, crack, watch my bottom arm here. 1, 2, 1. Now I'm here. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. So those are some basic tricks that you can learn to help teach your hand independence and just other stuff. Oh, and one more thing I'll cover really quickly, because there's no tutorial for it, is the Crazy 88, which you said you wanted to learn. Actually, you know what, I'll cover the Crazy 88 and the Cyclone, because you said you want to learn both of those. The Cyclone I'll start with. So again, the Cyclone looks like this. And when I started learning this, what I would do is I'd put my non-dominant hand on the bottom, and I'd kind of bring my other arm up and just go 1, 2, and just kind of practice doing this. And then I would also have this arm here and practice going 1, 2, and just kind of getting a feel for doing that with your other arm in the way. And then I always start with my top arm, and I'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I find that my arms kind of uncross when the bottom arm, my non-dominant hand, is cracking. They don't uncross a lot, but they do definitely, some space is created between them to allow for the move to happen. So if you watch, I'm kind of crossed, and then it kind of is like my arms uncross as I'm lifting up for the other fast figure 8. And then finally, for the Crazy 88, which is the hardest move that I'm going to do in this video, and I'll probably make a mistake on. The idea is you take your skip over, and then instead of doing this reverse cattleman's crack, you end up doing a crack like this before the crack happens that you catch. So I'll go up, throw, then I go crack, crack, and that's how the pattern starts. So like that, right? And then this hand that catches does a fast figure 8, and the bottom arm throws around it. 1, 2, and that's just fast figure 8s. Like that. That's a move that's a lot easier with shorter whips, but it's a lot of practice. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. So good luck.